A fairy tale about farmers is one of the most interesting stories you have seen. There was a shore town where resided numerous rich ranchers and just a single unfortunate one, whom they called the little farmer. He had not so much as a cow, regardless less had he the means to purchase one, and he and his better half significantly wanted for something like this. On one occasion, he told her, "Tune in, I have a smart thought. It is that your backup parent the joiner will make us a calf of wood and paint it brown, in order to resemble some mother. And afterward in time, maybe it will develop enormous and become a cow." This idea satisfied the spouse, and backup parent joiner set to attempt to saw and plane, and before long turned out a calf complete, with its head down and neck loosened up as though it were brushing. The following morning, as the cows were headed to pasture, the little farmer shouted to the drover, "Look here, I have a little calf to go, however it is as yet youthful and should be conveyed." "Okay," said the drover, and tucked it under his arm, conveyed it into the glades, and stood it in the grass. So, the calf remained where it was put, and appeared to be eating constantly, and the drover contemplated internally. It can before long run alone, assuming it brushes at that rate. In the evening, when the groups must be driven home, he told the calf, "Assuming you can remain there eating like that, you can simply stroll off on your own 4 legs. I won't carry you under my arm once more." However, the little farmer was remaining by his home entryway, and sitting tight for his calf, and when he saw the cow crowd getting through the town without it, he asked what it implied. The cow crowd replied, "It is as yet out there destroying, and never taken care of the call, and wouldn't accompany the rest." Then, at that point, the little farmer said, "I will listen for a minute, I should have my monster brought back." What's more, they went together through the fields in journey of it, however somebody had taken it, and it was no more. What's more, the drover said, "In all probability it has fled." However, the little farmer said, "Not it," and brought the cow crowd before the bailiff, who requested him for his remissness to give the little farmer a cow for the missing calf. So presently the little farmer and his better half had their long-wanted for cow. They celebrated with their entire existence, yet tragically they had no grain for it, and could give it nothing to eat, so that after a short time they needed to kill it. Its tissue they salted down, and the little farmer went to the town to sell the skin and purchase another calf with what he got for it. On the manner in which he came to a factory, where a raven was sitting with broken wings, and he removed it up from feel sorry for and enveloped it by the skin. The weather conditions were exceptionally blustery, and it blew and downpoured, so he transformed into the factory and requested cover. The mill operator's better half was separated from everyone else in the house, and she shared with the little farmer. All things considered, "Come in and lay you down in the straw," and she provided him with a slice of bread and cheddar. So, the little farmer ate, and afterwards sat down with his skin close to him, and the mill operator's significant other idea he was laying down with exhaustion. Inevitably in came another man, and the mill operator's significant other got him well overall, saying, "My better half is out, we will make optimism." The little farmer paid attention to what they said, and when he heard happiness discussed, he became irate to think he had been put off with bread and cheddar. For the mill operator's significant other by and by brought out cooked meat, salad, cakes, and wine. Presently, as the pair were plunking down to their banquet, there came a thump at the entryway. "Goodness dear," cried the lady, "it is my significant other." In a gleaming, she popped the dish meat into the broiler, the wine under the pad, the plate of mixed greens in the bed, the cakes under the bed, and the man in the material storeroom. Then, at that point, she made the way for her significant other, saying, "Thank heavens, you have arrived. What climate it is, as though the world were reaching a conclusion." Whenever the mill operator saw the little farmer lying in the straw, he said, "What individual do you have there?" "Gracious," said the spouse, "the unfortunate chap came amidst the breeze and downpour and requested asylum, and I gave him a few breads and cheddar and spread some straw for him." The spouse replied, "In any case, I have no complaint, just motivate me something to eat immediately." However, the spouse said, "There is only bread and cheddar." "Anything will accomplish for me," addressed the mill operator, "bread and cheddar forever," and noticing the little farmer, he cried, "Go along, and stay with me." The little farmer didn't stand by to be asked 2 times, yet plunked down and ate. Sooner or later the mill operator saw the skin lying on the ground with the raven enveloped with it, and he said, "What do you have there?" The little farmer replied, "A psychic." Furthermore, the mill operator inquired, would he be able to tell my fortune? "Why not?" addressed the little farmer. "He will tell 4 things, and the 5th he minds his own business." Now the mill operator turned out to be extremely inquisitive, and said, "Request that he says something." What's more, the little farmer squeezed the raven, so it croaked, "Car, cry." "What does he say?" asked the mill operator. Also, the little farmer replied, "First he says that there is wine under the pad." "That could be carefree," cried the mill operator, and he went to look, and tracked down the wine, and afterward inquired, "What next?" So, the little farmer made the raven croak once more, and afterward said, "According to he, furthermore, that there is broil meat in the broiler." "That would be happy," cried the mill operator, and he proceeded to look, and tracked down the meal meat. The little farmer made the crystal gazer talk once more, and afterward said, "According to he, thirdly, that there is salad in the bed." "That would be jaunty," cried the mill operator, and proceeded to look, and tracked down the serving of mixed greens. Yet again the little farmer squeezed the raven, so he croaked, and said, "According to he, fourthly and ultimately, that there are cakes under the bed." "That would be happy," cried the mill operator, and he proceeded to look, and tracked down the cakes. What's more, now the 2 plunked down to table, and the mill operator's better half felt truly awkward, and she hit the sack, and took all the keys with her. The mill operator was anxious to know what the 5th thing could be, however the little farmer said, "Assume we eat the 4 things in harmony first, for the 5th thing is an incredible arrangement more regrettable." So, they sat and ate, and keeping in mind that they ate, they dealt together with regards to how much the mill operator would give for knowing the 5th thing. And finally, they settled upon $300. Then, at that point, the little farmer squeezed the raven, so he croaked out loud. Furthermore, the mill operator asked what he said, and the little farmer replied. He says that there is a devil in the material storage room. Then, at that point, said the mill operator, that devil should out of the cloth storeroom, and he unbarred the house entryway, while the little farmer got the key of the material wardrobe from the mill operator's significant other, and opened it. Then, at that point, the man surged forward, and out of the house, and the mill operator said, "I saw the dark maverick with my own eyes, so that is a no love lost." What's more, the little farmer took himself off by dawn next morning with the $300. Furthermore, after this the little farmer by degrees got on the planet, and assembled himself a decent house, and different ranchers said, "Definitely the little farmer has been the place ere its downpours gold pieces, and has brought back cash by the bushel." Also, he was brought before the bailiff to say whence his wealth came. And all he said was, "I sold my calf's skin for $300. Whenever different ranchers heard this, they wished to share such amazing good fortune, and ran home, killed every one of their cows, cleaned them to sell them additionally at a similar significant expense as the little farmer. What's more, the bailiff said, I should be ahead of time with them. So, he sent his worker into the town to the skin purchaser, and he just gave her $3 for the skin. And that was faring better compared to the others, for when they came, they didn't get really that much, for the skin purchaser said, "How am I to manage this multitude of skins?" Presently different ranchers were exceptionally irate with the little farmer for misdirecting them, and they pledged retaliation against him, and went to gripe of his duplicity to the bailiff. The unfortunate little farmer was with one voice condemned to death, and to be placed into a container with openings in it, and moved into the water. So, he was directed to execution, and a cleric was gotten to say a mass for him, and the other individuals needed to remain a good way off. When the little farmer noticed the cleric, he knew him for the one who was stowaway in the material wardrobe at the mill operators. What's more, he told him, "As I let you out of the cabinet, you should let me out of the barrel." At that point a shepherd passed with a group of sheep, and the little farmer, knowing him to have an extraordinary wish to become bailiff himself, called out energetically, "No, I will not," and assuming that all the world asked me, I wouldn't. The shepherd, hearing him, came up and asked what it was he wouldn't do. The little farmer replied, "They need to make me bailiff, in the event that I sit in this barrel, however I won't make it happen." The shepherd said, "Assuming that is everything to do to become bailiff, I will sit in the barrel and welcome." And the little farmer replied, "Indeed, that is all, for you get into the container, and you will become bailiff." So, the shepherd concurred, and got in, and the little farmer affixed on the top. Then, at that point, he gathered the group of sheep and drove them away. The minister returned to the area get-together, and let them know the mass had been said. Then, at that point, they came and started to fold the barrel into the water, and as it went the shepherd inside called out, "I agree to be bailiff." They imagined that it was the little farmer who talked, and they replied, "Good, however first you should go down underneath and look about you a little," and they folded the container into the water. Upon that the ranchers returned home, and when they arrived at the town, there they met the little farmer driving a herd of sheep, and looking very quiet and satisfied. The ranchers were surprised and cried, "Little farmer, whence come you? How could you escape the water?" "Goodness," effectively addressed he, "I sank and sank until I came to the base. Then, at that point, I got through the barrel and emerged from it, and there were wonderful glades and a lot of sheep taken care of, so I carried away this run with me." "Then, at that point," said the ranchers, "are there any left?" "Goodness, yes," addressed the little farmer, "beyond what you might perhaps require." Then, at that point, the ranchers concurred that they would proceed to get some sheep likewise, each man a group for himself. And the bailiff said, "Me first." And they all went together, and in the blue sky there were minimal warm mists like lambkins, and they were reflected in the water, and the ranchers shouted out, "There are the sheep down there at the base." At the point when the bailiff heard that, he pushed forward and said, "I will go first and look about me, and assuming that things look well, I will call to you." Furthermore, he hopped stout into the water, and they generally imagined that the clamor he made signified, "Come," so the entire organization bounced in a steady progression. So died every one of the owners of the town, and the little farmer, as sole successor, turned into a rich man.